welcome back to my channel. So today we're just gonna do a sit down video just discussing 5 things that have really helped me on my wellness journey that I think would really help you as well. So please don't mind my hair, it's greasy from my workout. I have just slicked it back in a bun, so just don't mind it, please. Anyways, so we're gonna jump straight into the video with the first point being journaling. So journaling has really changed my life. It has honestly helped me not just in the physical part of my healing journey / wellness journey, but it has also really helped me on the mental aspect as well. So I journal in the mornings. It's a great way to start off my day. It kind of helps me understand what I need to do that day and just what is going on in my head. So if you want to see a video of my specific journaling routine, what prompts I use, what I do specifically down to the nitty gritty, leave a comment below and I would love to make that video if that is something that y'all want. But I'm going to talk about 2 different types of journaling. So the first one is freehand journaling, and this would also be like journaling your prayers. I am a Christian, and so I do like to journal my prayers out, and I will explain a little bit of why later. But then the second portion, the second type of journaling is prompts. So using prompts while you journal. So I'm first going to talk about freehand journaling because this has been one of the biggest game changers for my anxiety. I noticed that a lot of times during the day I will have moments where I'll be anxious about something, or I just have so many thoughts racing through my head and it feels like they're bouncing off the wall left and right, and I can't just decipher and understand how I'm feeling, what emotions are in my body, and what I'm what's causing all of this stress or anxiety. So what I'll do is I'll grab a piece of paper and I'll just sit down and I'll journal whatever thought comes to my head. So whatever thing comes into my head first, I journal it out. And this just really makes me have to hone in, really slow down, and put all those thoughts in a singular fashion to where I can only think about one at one time. And it's just really helped calm me down and just enter a state of rest and digest, and not just chaos in my head. So that is one of the biggest recommendations I can ever do if you struggle with anxiety or just racing thoughts at times, is just journal them out. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be this elaborate thing. Just like when you journal your prayer, it doesn't have to be this elaborate, amazing prayer. It's just literally whatever thoughts you tell God, how I'm talking to y'all. It's just very organic. That's just all God wants. So same thing goes with that. So again, I just like to spend that quality time with the Lord. So I will just intentionally journal my prayers out because it makes me have to stay very oriented on what I'm doing. So that kind of moves me into journaling with prompts, because I find that a lot of times freehand journaling can be really intimidating for people who are just now beginning, because they don't like the idea of just having a blank piece of paper and a pen. So prompts is a great way to start off. Practice is just finding prompts that relate to where you're at in life right now. So for example, I like to say that if I am struggling with negative thinking, or I'm struggling with negativity in my life, I might use the prompt 3 things I'm grateful for that day, or 3 things I'm grateful for in life, just to kind of help me turn those negative thoughts into positive ones. So that's an example. Or if you're really struggling with motivation or getting things done in the day, maybe you write out, what are my intentions for the day? Maybe that's the prompt you used. Or what is one thing I can do to work towards my goals? There's so many different prompts that you can use depending on what stage of life you're in or what you need in that time. Like I said, I can do a whole elaborate video about exactly what prompts I use, what my journal looks like, everything. Just leave a comment down below so I know if that's something you want. But one way that I found the prompts I use is I went to Pinterest and I just typed in journal prompts in the search bar, and tons just came up. So I would really recommend using that as a tool as well. But moving into our second point, obviously this is going to come to no surprise, it's movement. And we really can't live a healthy and well-balanced life without some form of movement. And I'm not talking about you need to go hit the gym every single day. I'm talking about having those different types of movements that you enjoy and you love, and just committing to moving our bodies every single day. And again, this needs to look different every day. It doesn't need to just be a workout every single day, 7 days a week, because that's unsustainable, because your body needs rest. So maybe you on that rest day, like when you're on that rest day, we just do a 10-minute stretch or we go on a walk. It really doesn't have to be so regimented and so all or nothing type thinking to where all I can do for movement is 30 minutes to an hour of intense exercise, or it doesn't count at all. All movement's great, all movement counts. It's also a really good point in practice to start intuitively thinking about your exercise. So maybe it's really cold out that day and it's just freezing, it's raining, you do not want to go on a walk, your body's telling you, you just feel that resistance towards that walk, not out of a place of laziness, but out of a place of you can just feel it deep in your soul. I don't need to go on this walk today. Maybe you do that yoga session instead. Maybe you just stretch it out or foam roll it out. Honestly, it doesn't have to be so regimented. Our workout routines need to flow with our life. They need to be something we can sustain. So setting these super high goals aren't going to achieve the results that we want if they don't fit in with our lifestyle. Fun little tip I like to also say to do is you never regret movement after you do it. So let's just say you're feeling really lazy that day and you said, I'm going to go on a 10-minute walk or 10-minute stretch. I'm just going to commit to that today. And you do it. I want you to write after you've done it how you feel after that movement, so that when you have those moments and you're lacking motivation, you have something to come back to say, see, this is the physical evidence that I need to know that I'm just being lazy. And again, the laziness is different than actually needing the rest or changing that routine. You'll feel the difference as time goes along. I know I struggle with that and I'm still working it out, but there is a difference. But like I was saying, when you have that laziness, or you're just like 10 minutes doesn't really count or whatever, just commit to it and write down how you feel afterwards, because exercise or movement needs to be something, again, that you thoroughly enjoy, 2, that helps reduce that anxiety, and 3, that boosts those endorphins. So if it's something that you can just commit to and you see that evidence that it's done those for you in the past, you'll most likely do it again, because you know for a fact that that is true. That is something I highly recommend doing, especially at the beginning when you're trying to build those new habits. The third point, obviously, everyone's going to know it, but it's nutrition. You cannot live a healthy, sustainable life without having a balanced, healthy nutrition. With nutrition, like I said, it is a huge portion of our wellness journey, but it is so confusing with social media nowadays to understand what is a healthy diet. I know I've struggled with this in the past a lot, even as a fitness trainer and a person who got her degree in nutrition science. I can be just as confused as you are probably half the time. It is so much information and so conflicting. You have one person saying, don't eat fruit, and then you have another person saying, only eat fruit, and you're like, wait, what? Which one is it? And I'm just here to tell you, you are not alone. I want to do a video in the future really going into depth of my journey with food, my relationship with it, and the things I've struggled with in the past on it. Because no one's immune to it. No one's going to have it figured out. We're all going to struggle at some point. And so I'd really love to share that with y'all if that is something, again, you are interested in. But speaking of nutrition, it is so individualized. One diet is not going to work for everybody. I'm going to have different reactions to food than somebody else. I'm even going to react different to foods depending on the season of life I'm in. So what I mean by that is if I'm in a highly stressed situation, I digest food. This is anybody. We digest food differently than when we're calm and relaxed. So if my life is super hectic and chaotic and just stressful, I might not be able to digest that dairy like I could when I was in a relaxed state. And so that's just something you have to test. You have to see. Your diet should change. It's going to change depending on your life. So again, there's not one size fits all. There's not one regimented meal plan that's going to work for everybody or even for you for your whole wellness journey. It's going to change, and that is a beautiful thing, so that we don't get so bored with it also. So I will say a great starting point is just to keep it simple. Make sure you have all the macronutrients at every meal. So that's protein, carbs, and fats. We need all three, regardless of what people say. You need all three. And obviously, like your muscles need the protein, your body needs that energy from those carbs and those fats to have a healthy metabolism, have healthy hormones. That's what your body needs. It's a macronutrient for a reason. So I don't want anyone to think that I can just not have some of it. No, you need some of all of it. Just figure out what works best for your body and what you respond to best. And that's going to come with trial and error and time. Nobody wants that. It's a long-term journey, but there are no short fixes. Focus on having 80% whole foods. So that's, foods that don't have 10 ingredients on the label. Like, keep them small, keep them simple, reduce the stress, and then 20% indulge, y'all. Like, have that chocolate, have that ice cream, have that pizza with your friends out on a Friday night. Life is to be lived. It's to be enjoyed. And nobody wants to look back when they're 80 and say, man, no one wants to look back when they're 80 and regret not going out with their friends just because they were so scared of a piece of pizza. Like, come on, we gotta have some room for that as well. Again, I'm only speaking about that from somebody who has struggled with these things in the past. Just have some fun in life. It's time to enjoy life also. And we can have both. We can enjoy life some and also live our healthy life the majority of the time. Food is there as a vessel so that we can enjoy our lives and we can do our purpose in life and be able to just support us and our muscles, give us energy, make us happy. That is what food is, period. Let's stop overcomplicating it. Moving on to point number 4, which I say is you do 1 to 2 stress reduction activities in your day. Stress is huge. It can cause inflammation in our bodies, chronic illnesses, if you're in a chronic state of stress. So acute stress is great for our bodies. Exercise actually does that to our bodies, but chronic stress is where it's dangerous, and we can have chronic inflammation, chronic diseases, all stemming from the stress in our lives. When our bodies are in a fight or flight state, we can actually be in a catabolic state. And what I mean by that, it means a breaking down state. So we can actually break down our muscles when we're highly stressed as well because of this catabolic state that our bodies are in. So it's super important that we be able to balance those out and have those stress relieving activities so that we have them in our toolkit. We know how to cope with stress. We know how to let it come back down and relax so it doesn't become this chronic state. So what would be a stress relieving activity? This is going to change depending on you, what you enjoy, what you like, but here are a couple I like to do. I love to get outside with my dog, take her for a walk, or just sit outside and throw the ball. Or reading. I like to read outside. Taking a bath, like an Epsom salt bath, can be really calming and just relaxing to the body. Warm things are really relaxing. Putting your legs up the wall is a great one, actually. It can help with digestion as well. And so I like to do that as well if I'm feeling stressed. I like to bake, so baking's another great one. Coloring. Again, cuddling with your dog or your significant other, listening to music, and singing. These are all just a couple that you can do and you can incorporate. There's so many more. You could probably also do a Pinterest search on this too and just say stress relieving activities, and I'm sure there's tons of lists. So just make sure you implement 1 to 2 in your day, whatever fits into your lifestyle. But stress is so important to learn how to manage it. This leads me into my last wellness tip, and it is to work on his body affirmations. I think everybody, especially women, have struggled with body image at some point in their life. It's obviously to different degrees depending on who you are, your journey, and what you've gone through. But I know I definitely have struggled with this, continue to struggle with it. It's just one of those things that we're all going to have at some point, and we need to be honest about it. And there shouldn't be any shame in saying that you struggle in that area, because we can make it better and we can heal from it. I think it's ridiculous to tell people to stop comparing, because that is such an unrealistic goal to set for people. Like, you can't just not compare. That is our tendencies. Yes, the Lord tells us not to, or like we shouldn't do that because it does make us feel horrible. But that's such an extreme to go from one to the other. We need steps to get to that point. We have to understand, where is this comparison coming from? And then giving yourself grace. Okay, I felt the comparison, but how can I come out of this feeling better? Not just sitting in it. You can't sit in it. It's time to work to get out of it. So one thing that I do, I've just started incorporating it actually, but it's mirror work. So you sit in front of the mirror and you say things that you like about your body, and you have to get a little bit uncomfortable with it, because you have to look at the things that you don't like until you're so desensitized to it that you can actually look at it and say, okay, it is what it is. You obviously can always make your body better, but I accept my body for what it is right now. And I think that alone, working on your own body image, helps stop the comparison than just saying, don't compare. Like, I think you really have to do the work. Why you feel so negatively about your own body, and then that's where the comparison will kind of come down. It's life. Everyone's always going to compare at some point, probably more than others, depending on where you're at, again. But be realistic. Focus more on how can I improve my body image than just stop comparing. I really hope y'all enjoyed these 5 points that I had for y'all today. I have something really exciting in the works, and so I will be releasing on the Playbook app my own little section of workouts, recipes, and I'll be starting off with the 7-day ab challenge. So stay tuned for more information on that, but I just wanted to sprinkle in some of the exciting news. But yeah, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and again, leave that comment down below of what you want to see next. And I am so excited to see y'all in the next one.